you very much.
It's all about the need for speed tonight.
Yeah, thanks. It's fantastic to be here.
To be on the show, and it's great to have somebody who's watched the show before that can see sort of what you're heading into before you get here.
No, absolutely. It's been great, and it certainly kept us sane during lockdown and gave us something to do. And just all the guys, the likes of Wayne Cullis and and everybody that was doing live streams, lockdown stuff. It was absolutely, it kept us going. Yeah,
it's been a very strange experience for a lot of the musos and guys like me who are used to that live interaction all the time. That the face is right in front of you.
Yeah, yep.
And Wayne was obviously the first one to jump on. I watched the other day where we were trying to play together the first time. Online, and you just can't do it. It's just impossible. But we were laughing, and there were about 500 people watching us just make complete asses of ourselves. But it was such fun. It was
there was some brilliant ones. So Simon and his sister and girlfriend on the rooftop just up the road from you guys.
Amazing.
And Big Man and Bear.
Hugo
and Megan as well.
Hugo and Megan. Listen, Hugo and Megan. I don't know if you guys watched Big Man and Bear online, but man, Hugo and Megan got that sound and that intimacy. They just nailed it so well. They were so good at it, and they because they had this beautiful microphone and they just kept it soft and beautiful, and I think sound wise and show wise, I think they came out tops.
They were brilliant. We certainly looked forward to them on a Sunday when they did it, and it was top class. So. Yeah, it's. Lockdown certainly taught us lots of different talents.
It has, isn't it amazing? And do you think that it was so nice with Wayne was doing his show on a Saturday or Sunday, and you'd have a braai or something, and you just put it on in the background, and you got your live music going,
Yeah.
Particularly with someone like Wayne or like Hugo and Megan, but Wayne was particularly for a rowdy evening. You could have him on in the background and he'd be talking cuck to you from the screen.
As the drinks flowed, so it got louder and louder, and that's the beauty of it, is that you've got the ability to communicate. So they know who's watching, and just like when we see in the comments coming through here.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of these comments. Already we can see, and I love that we can immediately see, like Trevor Dyson, how's Gino Trevier and Wooten Surrey. He's been on a couple of times. Yeah. Trevor, it's been lovely to have you on again, man, from Surrey. And Ingrid Creer, fellow Ingrid, lovely, watching while holiday in Holland, Lordy. You guys are so lucky. I've been watching Ingrid online. I've been seeing some of your travels around there. I've been spying on you, Ingrid. Fantastic. You've been in France with Travis and family. That's their son as well. Ian Mitchell from the Music Kitchen. How's it, Ian? Lovely to have you on as well.
There's a bugger we spend a lot of time with. Spend a lot of money at Music Kitchen, but what a venue.
Brilliant venue.
And what he does for South African music is absolutely out of this world, and it's just my love of South African music and Afrikaans music as well. Yeah. Just slots in. So Michelle and I spend a lot of time at the Music Kitchen.
Well, music. Ian is incredible in terms of the fact that he risks so much of himself to bring those musos here, and for that, Ian, there's forever kudos to you, man. Greg Kahn from Joe Davis as well. How's it? Very nice to see you on camera for a change. You've got the face for camera and radio, he says.
Daryl.
Daryl Cookard. Who's that?
Daryl's my mate, ex Supersport, my producer. We do lots and lots of work together. I'm just looking at this thing on my head here. I had one of my horns burnt out this afternoon. I was just starting to sprout little horns.
Yes.
I've had one.
We can't see from that side. We've got the correct side for you. Like Julio Iglesias, he only did one side of his face. You know that when he sang his songs. Julio Iglesias to all of the girls, because the other side was full of scars and stuff.
Okay.
Greatly.
Hi, Kathy Whittle, one of the legends from PEOTR, the oval track racing.
Oval track. That's over there.
That's on Mission Road. They've got nationals coming up next weekend.
Not we're not talking about
Victory.
this one.
Victory Raceway is over here. We're lucky to have two oval tracks in the country, and it's nationals at PEOTR this weekend. So I've got a busy weekend. Friday and Saturday. I'll be commentating with two of the top commentators in the country. So I'm looking forward to that one, Gary Fleming and FC Nivot are going to be up here, so I'll be joining them. First time working with both of them together. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So Kathy Whittle, please put on a link if you've got a website or something for the OCR. Then, hey, you say
OTR. PEOTR, yeah.
What is Oval Track Racing?
PE Oval Track Racing.
Oval Track Racing.
Yeah.
Raceway.
PE Oval Track Raceway, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Please put Kathy. Please put a link in so if people are interested, because I every now and again it's nice to go. I've been to Victory as well.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
Jan van Donde. Jannie van die Baai.
Oh, so you van die Baai off.
Jannie van die Baai, yeah. Rubber duck racer and.
Yeah. That's Jan. That is something that just freaks me out. Rubber duck stuff. Those guys.
Yeah, but he's converted to oval track. He's a very good oval track racer
really?
as well.
Okay.
He's just made a welcome return to oval track racing as well.
Oh,
and my brother, nice to have a speedo behind Brendan, but please don't put him into a speedo. He's an arsehole.
We'll get you that. We can try. I've got my pineapple. I've got my pineapple pants on. You know.
And there's your uncle.
Yes, you can. It's my Uncle Greg. Hello, Uncle Greg. Lovely to have you on as well. And Mr. Greg,
that's salad.
A salad you brought. Yes,
yep.
You brought us Grace. Grace brought us a salad.
That side. Yeah,
yes,
backwards again.
Yeah, we brought it out. And then Brendan, see you Friday and Saturday. Also,
there's Gary. Gary's watching the show. Yeah, Gary, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous to join the Masters up in the commentary box again. I'm still a newcomer at the
commentary game. Oh, you've been doing it for a while now. Eh?
Yeah, about 14 years.
You said 14 years. Well, then yes, certainly no. But you still obviously respect these guys. So it's Gary and
Gary and FC Nivot. Yeah, I only recently, I would say, in the last 2 years, started with the oval track stuff. I used to always go and watch because I love it's quick action, and it runs on clockwork. As soon as the one class is off, the next class, they go off, the other class come in, and it's exciting.
Mission Road.
Mission Road is next weekend, the Nationals. That the last check there were, I think, about 110, 115 entries. So people coming from all over the country. Some very interesting racing. So there are tickets available, weekend passes, and that. So I urge everybody. If you've got nothing to do over the weekend, get out to Mission Road, on Mission Road to PEOTR. It's going to be an absolute.
Have you got to know the drivers quite well?
No.
You know them well.
It was a bit awkward at first, not having prize givings, because I like to, the best way to get to know the guys is to go and do the prize giving afterwards and socialise, have a dop with them, and you really get to know them, and then be able to put names to faces, which for the first year didn't happen. I would arrive, I would go to the top of the stand, into the commentary booth, talk, and not know, just numbers on a car.
See the colours and the numbers of the cars,
and not know who the hell they are. But now it's obviously getting a lot better.
Okay.
And just by forming relationships with the guys, it gives you so much more to talk about, and it just boosts your knowledge. You know what we blew the motor yesterday, kind of thing, and now we on track again. That type of story. So it just gives you more depth to the commentary, and it's like telling a story. You want to go up there and tell a story.
It is an expensive game as well, though.
Any form of motorsport is expensive. It doesn't matter what you do, but it's
a love. It's a passion. Look how much people spend on bicycles as well.
I see. There's another commentator, Ivan Newman.
Newman on there as well. How's it, Ivan?
As well.
Evening, Brendan, he says.
Hello, Ivan. Yeah.
Excellent. I see Geordie Glasgow.
Hi, Geordie.
Oh, excellent. Geordie's on. He's been on once or twice before as well. Lovely to have you on, Geordie.
Yeah, I grew up with Geordie at place Seavale. We had a holiday house at Seavale, just outside East London, and I could write a whole chapter
on
of
Geordie.
my life. Not on Geordie, on growing up at Seavale, your formative years.
Really?
Grant Gibson.
There we go.
Hello, Grant. Grant was one of the rescue divers that pulled me out of the boat when I had a big accident in
We'll get into that just now. The accident. We've got that on film here, Grant. We'll
the younger of the Glasgows. How's it?
There we go. A couple of Glasgows.
Yeah.
Scottish. Oh, they're Scottish. Right now.
Yeah.
And then Pierre van der Merwe.
Yeah. one of the our friends from karting in East London. His little boy has just started oval track racing as well. Made his debut.
So karts on oval track as well.
No, there are certain tracks around the country that they run karts, put off-road tires on them, and run them on the dirt.
Okay.
But Pierre's son Jordan has he's got a golf and racing in the rookie class, the junior class.
Yes.
And did exceptionally well. His first time out at Victory Raceway, he did very, very well. So he's certainly one to watch for the future. And with motorsport, it's so nice to see the youngsters, the lighties that were still running around in nappies and snot running out their noses, and now they're behind the wheels of the car. And even the youngsters from when my son Cameron was racing karts, the likes of Stuart White, Kelvin van der Linde, Sheldon van der Linde, Jordan Pepper, these youngsters, they're little whippersnappers. Now they're racing internationally. Arushan Mudli, his son Rishay, racing motorbikes overseas, come through the ranks.
Please tag these guys if you know them, please, because we'd love to have them on as well and get some comments, because are we taking motor racing or talking motor racing or powerboat racing? Better both, right?
We'll talk anything. I've got all night. I don't mind.
We'll get to powerboat racing. We were talking this raceway stuff. It's a different kind of racing if they don't go one
just
way.
An oval track. Yeah, just one way. Yeah, you only have to learn.
Turn left.
It depends what class you drive.
Do they go right?
Yeah, the bigger the American, the V8 saloons, you've got to learn to turn left, and in other cars you learn to turn right. So it's easy as long as you've got to know the.
So they go the other way around.
Yeah, they go.
Do they?
Yeah, certain classes go.
Why would they go
the way around? That's just the way they go.
It's like only the novices go left, and then you guys go right.
Front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive, the cars have got different dynamics, and it's easier with the inertia of the motors. It's like a Formula One powerboat that only wants to turn left because the rotation of the motor. It goes into a left corner. Now, if you go right, you gain opposing everything. All your power and everything, the way the rotation of the propeller is going the opposite way. So they don't like to turn. They don't like to turn right. So
wow, I didn't know that actually. And so I mean, like I said, this oval racing. To get into it, do you start? How did you start with a novice, like with a golf or something, or
that's relatively cheap. Now, the golfs are. Because there's so many of them, you pick them up at the scrapyard fairly cheaply, and there's so many guys that know the golf so well, and I mean they basically strip all the weight off them. It's a bare shell, and then they put fiberglass panels. So it's the car looks like the real thing, but it's actually all just a lot of it is a tube frame with fiberglass. So that is the way.
Tube frame is it quite a roll cages.
There's some guys that are spending sort of. Anything up to $500,000 on their cars now. What? So, and that's with the nationals, we'll see the big guns coming out there in the hot rod class and the 2.1 modifieds and things like that. So it's exciting.
Because I mean I love to go to like Victory or these other place as well. I must actually have a go at it because I love seeing these old cars as well pulling in.
Yeah, the older cars, heavy metals is like the traditional stock cars.
Yes,
where they allow
Cortina.
Lots of them.
Sierras,
Telstars, and they're all getting cleaned up by a front wheel drive Golf VR6.
Really?
There's two of them that race. And it is awesome racing to see these old cars from yesteryear out on the track. These big bangers.
Falcon or a something.
There's a Falcon, or a guy from Queenstown that comes down with a Falcon that raced at PEOTR. He's just recently sold the car, but absolutely fantastic to see that big monster going around there.
Massive. And they've got V8s in these things. They've got V8s in them as well.
A lot of them. They've got a V8 class with the American.
Was 'n V8 Sierra geweest ook nie?
Was
'n V8 en 'n Cortina was 'n V6 nie.
The Cortina V6 and the V8 was the XR8, the Sierra XR8.
Sierra XR8, that's the one. And then what about the Superboss? Do you know that's the Superboss story? That's a good evening from your captain.
That's my sister in Natal. Good evening from the captain. It's a long story, a New Year's Eve story where we got we tucked into some R&Rs, raspberry and rum.
Raspberry and rum,
every time that Clive went to go and pour a drink, he came back as a different character.
Is that her husband?
That's her partner.
I see.
Came back as a different character, and geez,
sounds like me.
What a night! Michelle drove home the next day.
Okay.
And I think our workup, we were already past Port Edward in the middle of the Transkei. She missed the turn. No, we went the scenic route. We went right inland. She forgot to turn, so we missed the turn into Kokstad. See, Mitch Tiltman there. Yeah, Mitch, one of my long-time friends from Powerboat racing, also used to race rubber ducks.
No relation to Dave Tiltman.
Younger brother.
Younger brother. Excellent, Mitch.
Yep.
I love that.
And
You enjoyed that show with Dave.
Master Chef and Mr. North End Lake King. No, Anton, nice to see you, and great that you're watching. I haven't seen Anton for a long time, but
Anton,
a surf ski legend.
Surf ski. Okay,
legend,
that's the
paddling side. Another of my passions. So
do you also
I spent from the age of about probably 15 years, I was very, very involved in wave skiing, paddle skiing, as in New Zealand wave skiing.
Wave skiing, that's
sitting on it like a sit-down surfing. The wave skis. And that's
you mean like
Geordie
a
and
paddle ski?
Yeah, paddle ski. Yeah.
Paddle ski. Okay, I know that as a paddle ski.
Yeah, they were called paddle skis then, but then they changed it to wave ski.
Oh, is that what
it's a wave ski
them?
because you ride the waves on them, and I was very involved in wave skiing or paddle skiing, and then surf ski as well.
You don't go in too far. They just to keep it while it's the wave's still a bump.
That's
is that
it.
right?
Yeah, you go deep sea.
Beautiful.
On those. Yeah, no. So I grew up. I spent a lot of time on the water.
Okay.
And that's why.
Any dangerous times? Because
plenty dangerous. Yeah, it's like anything, you know.
Yeah.
You never know what's
going to happen.
Close encounter with Geordie Glasgow there.
Oh, really?
Where, a shark. I was paddling out, and he was on the wave, and a Zambezi shark came up right between us. And
holy crap! I've seen we've got an offer here for a sponsor for a weekend ticket to our nationals this weekend.
That?
Wow, thank
Kathy.
you. I'd love to come, Kathy. I'm going to know what I've got on this weekend. I'm going to try as hard as damn it to get there. That'll be fantastic. Thank you, Kathy. I'll be in touch. And then awesome Brendan. Enjoy it, Kate.
Kate, thanks very much. Yeah, one of my cousins from East London. I've got lots of
lovely family
cousins.
all over the place.
Yeah. All from the Transkei originally.
Oh, really? Is that where you grew up?
I was born in Butterworth. Yeah.
Butterworth.
Jeez,
like that. I mean, that's in the middle of that. Isn't that Sky side, or is it?
No. That's you cross over the Kei. It's the first big town when you go into the Transkei. If you're heading towards KZN.
Still called Butterworth.
Gua.
I must remember that.
Yeah, Butterworth. You get Butterworth, and then Aduchwa, and then Mthatha.
Okay.
And then we lived other side of Mthatha, Kumbu.
Oh, Kumbu.
Yebo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you learn to speak a bit of Xhosa?
I didn't even learn to speak English. Though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We left and moved to Natal when I was probably only about 1.5. I would imagine.
Oh, really?
A year and a half, 2 years. I was very much a toddler. Small. So, yeah. And then we moved to Natal. I grew up in a little place called Ikopo. In the Natal Midlands. A dairy hub and timber hub as well. So I had a relatively small, not a village, but a small town, but a magnificent place in those days.
And the trees grow fast over there because bloody rains all the time.
Rains every day.
Yeah,
every day.
And so was it Kupa? Ikopo. Yeah. That's and was your dad? What was your parents doing then?
My father was he worked for the Native Recruiting Corporation, but part of the Chamber of Mines. Kwateba, it was the NRC, the Native Recruiting Corporation, and then it became Kwateba, and it was labor, the migrant laborers that went to all the mines up country. A lot of the labor force came from the Transkei and the Ciskei. So he headed up
recruitment,
the native recruitment for the Ciskei area.
So that's why you moved around a bit as well.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, we moved to Natal and stayed in Ikopo until I finished standard 6 there, and then my dad was transferred to King Williamstown to head up.
Conte.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I became a Dalian. Went to Dale you've had lots of old
a lot of
Dalians
Dalians on the show.
Yeah.
Gee, was the Eastern Cape and so many good rugby players and so many good sportsmen come out of Dale as well. Did you do a bit of?
Unfortunately, I by that stage had found the love of the ocean, and we had bought our house at our cottage at Seavale. So
our shack.
Our shack, yeah.
Yes.
So they started off as shacks, yeah. So yeah, I was a very handy cricketer. I love cricket. And
but border.
No,
you were day boy.
Okay,
day boy.
Which afforded me to go to our cottage every opportunity that I could get. And from I was in, I think, standard 8 already, and I would go down on my own. I'd bum a lift with friends of ours, and whoever was going down to Seavale, I would jump in with them, and I spent all the time in the water on my paddle ski.
She was.
Yeah, if I wasn't paddle skiing, I was diving for perlemoen, which was legal in those days.
Yes, yeah.
And or fishing. I love for deep sea fishing as well. I was very friendly with one of the commercial fishermen. There were a couple of guys that fished commercially out of Seavale and Christmas Rock, and so I used to
rocks on the rock.
No, off the boat.
Off the boat,
going deep sea.
Okay,
yep.
Wow.
So. Okay. Yeah, no, we grew up as having been born in the Transkei. We would go back to the Transkei every Easter weekend. We spent all our holidays on the Transkei Wild Coast. Sure. My father came from a rather large family. I think there were nine siblings. And
Catholics.
A lot of
not Catholics,
and a lot of them had cottages on the Wild Coast. So I know the Wild Coast. We spent lots of holidays on the Wild Coast as well. So.
Beautiful. I mean, is that Kynmouth and Morgan Bay and those places, or like
further? Mouth, Landili. Coffee Bay, Hole in the Wall, that area, yeah.
Wow,
so,
it's absolutely beautiful out there. It's unspoilt, beautiful coastline.
People say, what country would you like to go and visit? So just send me to the Wild Coast.
Yeah.
I'll pick going to the Wild Coast over any overseas holiday, just to be able to switch off my cell phone and go and chill at the Wild Coast and have a jolt. I see one of my cousins there, Bruce Mills. They used to go to their cottage as well. They had a cottage at Holocha, the Seagulls Treneries area. They had a big cottage down there. So
you have to go across the pond.
And then another of my cousins also from way back, Debbie Roberts as well.
Debbie.
Ryan.
Ryan says your favourite local commentator, even if he confused me for someone else.
These oaks come along, like Ryan Verswiggy there. He comes along with his Debbie. It's so good to see you. Some things never change, yeah?
Yes.
No. But Ryan, he comes along, and there's been a red VW Polo that's raced all the time. He comes in with an identical one. And your brain memory, you go and it's an absolute copycat. So
complete plagiarism, really, I suppose.
Because I got his name wrong once.
Right.
The next time he came out, he had duct taped his name, his name on the top of the car, and I sit fairly high up at Scribanti, so he won't let me forget that one. So don't worry, Ryan.
Oh man, Debbie Roberts here, I see as well. Good to see you,
my cousin.
She says something, and I see
She's
Patrick
down in Cape Town. Oh, Patrick.
Patrick Lefty says, "How's it to both of you? How's it, Patrick? Lovely to see you as well online."
Saw him the other day. He came and said hello to me at Victory Raceway.
Oh, cool.
Popped into the box up there. So. There's a man, Steph Willifield, my co-commentator. Steph and I did the World Rubber Duck Championship 2017 World Rubber Duck Championship together. Very, very good commentator and auctioneer.
He's got
cousins.
It sounds like
it. I've got cousins all over the country.
Well, his father had 9 siblings. He's going to follow suit, I suppose. There's still time, Michelle. There's still time. You can catch up. Oh no! But it sounds like it's just a matter of speed as opposed to what you ride, whether it be karting or boating or cars or whatever. It's just the same motor, same speed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's with me, it's always living on the edge. If you, I've probably the world's worst FOMO, a fear of missing out. These Wild Coast holidays and that where we used to go, and that was always after lunch. Everybody, no, we're going to have a lie down. There's no chance of that. While you're here, you make the most. You make the most of every single second that you've got, and that I've carried that through life. And people often wonder, how do you keep flipping going at the speed that you're going? And it's just, You know, it's I've just got one of those personalities that if I'm sitting still, I'm
bored.
I don't really get bored. I'm always busy with something. And
no afternoon sleepies. Huh?
Not
Come on, Michelle, tell us the truth.
Not very seldom, eh? Not very seldom.
Gary puts up little notes for us every now and again, so we can see where if he needs to find out about something. He's asking about your job
dairy,
because you said you grew up in a dairy area as well.
Yeah.
In KZN. Did that give you a grounding for your job now with Northfield?
Yeah, it was too far away. I mean, I was still a little whippersnapper. We left Ikopo when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
But we spent a lot of time on the dairy farms. A lot of my school friends had farms, and we would after school.
As well.
Yeah, and yeah, Dale. But we would go to you spent lots of time, and one of my brother's friends, his father was a refrigeration mechanic at NCD, which is the Clover factory.
Okay.
And it always fascinated, with the old the ice bank systems that they had in those days for to cool the milk.
Better tell us a little bit about the ice bank system. That's using jargon, people.
Yeah, they used to use cold water to cool the milk. They didn't have refrigeration tanks like we've got now. They used to run cold water one way through over a ripple plate, a metal ripple plate. Run the milk one way and the cold water the other way, and just the transfer of heat.
Like this.
Yeah, the transfer
of heat.
One underneath and on top.
And it works, eh?
Yeah, that works. It would drop the temperature low enough to put it into a milk can. You remember the old cans?
Yes,
the big aluminium cans, and then they'd put that into a bath of cold water or into a cold room, and that's how they cooled their milk.
Underground or something like
that? No, just a bath of ice cold water.
Okay.
But these guys now, these dairies that we're doing, I mean, the guys kick off with a 30,000 litre milk tank, a direct expansion cooling tank, and it's
direct expansion, guys.
Yeah,
it's
like
just a simple thing.
No, it's like a fridge. It's a fridge. It's got a cooling plate. It's the same as a fridge. It's got a compressor that pumps the refrigerant through. Yeah. And we're the agents for Syrup milk tanks. It's a French built tank. Oui. Except shipping is just driving us bloody mad at the moment with containers coming into the country.
At the moment, everybody is complaining, and I've heard it before as well. Everybody's complaining about these containers. Nobody's got containers. All the containers went one way to Europe or whatever, and they're just sitting there waiting for stuff to come back, and they've got nothing to put in them, so they don't want to bring them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sad scene. We used to, the turnaround from when a farmer paid his deposit and ordered a tank, it used to be about 2.5 months before the tank was delivered to Kucha Harbour. And now we're going anything up to 5-6 months. So it gets embarrassing, and it's, I love going out there and selling it, but you sell it.
You need to have the stock.
You want to have a commitment to say, well, wait 2.5 months and you got your tank. So it's difficult times that we're going through at the moment, just with the supply on them. But it's a good product. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best product, the best of the different makes of cooling tanks.
Tank really well.
That's just their technology. The dimple plate that the cold gas flows through underneath it is just
the dimple plate, people.
It's just different. It's far more efficient, and their cooling plates run higher up in the inside of the tanks as well. So you've got more surface area and much more efficient. But it's exciting. It's an exciting industry to be in, because we specialize. We still use the ice bank technology. We build big 5,000 litre tanks with a coil. A copper coil, and we make ice during the night. The same compressors that you would use for cooling the milk actually make ice during the night. And then with a plate heat exchanger, you actually pre-cool the milk before it goes into the tank. And it's got so many benefits.
So you're kind of storing that coal, I suppose, instead of wasting the electricity. you can
correct. Yeah, a lot of they have what they call ruriflex in the farming communities where electricity there's a cheaper rate at night. And so if we can harness instead of the compressors running during the day, we run them during the night. It's obviously cooler. You're not fighting against the ambient temperature of the day. So everything just runs a lot cooler, and it makes ice a lot quicker.
And solar as well.
Solar big now, and now we make it for free during the day. I mean, you harness the sun energy, and you make ice all day, and it's enough for the afternoon milking and the next morning milking. So
it's fantastic.
It's very, very efficient systems, and I mean we put milk into the tanks at below 4 degrees, and 4 degrees is the sort of norm that the milk temperature, tank will switch off at, and we generally put milk into the tanks at about 3.2 degrees. So it's and the farmer scores because because it's not taking a long time to cool, it's not getting stirred all the time. So the butterfat content is a lot bigger straight away. You're not breaking down the solids of the milk. Bacteria becomes virtually non-existent, so the farmer gets paid a lot more per liter because the quality of the milk, it just extends the shelf life completely. So it's
that cream inside the milk.
It's not broken down. So and it just extends the shelf life.
Make me feel like a milkshake now. Wendy Tompkins Thompson, where are you with your milkshakes? Let's have a quick look at some of the comments before we go. We're getting so many.
Getting abusive there again.
Yes, now he's talking about dimple plate, kettle drum. I don't know what the hell that's. It's like a washboard. I'm sure you could play it. I bet I could. Dimple plate's like a kettle drum, so play that also. That's it. Oh, my soul.
Then one of my colleagues, Teresa. She does internal pump sales at Northfield.
Oh, okay. Yes. And you do. Your job takes you everywhere these days. Because I notice when you're not there. I mean, obviously, when I go and visit Michelle. On those nights when you're not alone, when you're not at home. Where are you going to all these times?
We obviously do lots along the Fish River, right up from Pedi, right up to Middleburg area. We've got all dairies all along the Fish River. Some massive dairies.
Is there a dairy specific big dairy area that like where is the biggest dairy?
The biggest Natal traditionally used to be the dairy area, but the Eastern Cape has overtaken it now.
Really?
Yeah, we're the highest producing province in the country.
Yeah.
So we do beat Natal.
Take it, Natal.
We can't beat them at rugby. We can beat them in milk production. So up there and Elliot as well. There's been a massive boost up in Elliot. The Just Milk group, Dave Osborne and Edgar Brotherton have set up a whole lot of dairies up there in conjunction with piggeries and cheese factories as well, because they all work together. They all work together. Yeah.
Really, piggeries.
Piggeries.
Now explain yourself, Brennan Kelly.
Okay, you've got
piggeries.
Milk. You've got milk coming from the cows.
Yes.
The milk gets sent to the cheese factory. All the curds and whey then get sent to the piggery.
Okay, because it's protein
all the protein for the pigs.
Because they eat any cuck, those pigs.
Yeah, and they cuck a lot as well.
Sure.
And then that cuck goes back into the lands. It's separated, so the water's used for irrigation. The solids get put back into the soil. The grass grows.
And the cows eat it.
Produce more milk.
I wondered about that, because there's a piggery down there in Nanaga way. I saw that Congo's Kraal. I don't know what it's called, but it's friends of mine stay there, and they've got a piggery on the farm. I thought, what the hell? But then they've got a lot of dairy farms around there. So that's exactly why. So you've explained something to me now.
You need a cheese factory as well.
Cheese factory
to get the byproducts, the curds and the wheys for the.
Oh my word! Because obviously Lex Gucci is up Humansdorp way. That's all woodlands, eh?
Correct. Yeah.
Daryl Cookard says enough milking now. Let's move on to powerboats.
Okay. Right, there's my day job sorted.
Yes.
Okay, but you asked about the travelling around the country.
Yes,
so we look after from the Western Cape. We've got agents down in the Western Cape, but obviously you like to call on them and just call on the farmers. And then KZN as well. We're on a massive drive to get more of our product into KZN. So
Northfield blazing a trail for the Eastern Cape.
We're busy. Yeah, we've got an agent. We've got agents in all the big centres. service agents and that. And then we're doing quite a lot in Zimbabwe as well.
Wow.
There's a big drive for South African farmers to go back into Zimbabwe, and they're starting to headhunt some of our good dairy managers from the Eastern Cape.
They must be thinking very carefully about it, unless they're offering them a lot of money.
Yeah, no money, but it's
Hi, Zimbabwe, ek weet nie van daai plekke.
Guys have just come back there and given raving reviews on it. There's just, it's just everything seems so stable at the moment.
I just think you're
like civil war.
People we're immigrating. Where are you immigrating to? Zimbabwe. I love that. Go, guys! I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like the weirdest choice, but fantastic if it's happening. I love that.
Yeah, no.
What about further north?
Zambia. All those countries are thriving now. Malawi, Kenya, they're all thriving. So we're busy with plans to expand. We're the syrup milk tank agents for sub-Saharan Africa. So we
and they're obviously good tanks.
No, they are.
You get
they
lots
are brilliant.
And is PE the main? Is it head office here?
That's Northfield's head office is in PE.
Isn't that amazing? Pretty much like sub-Saharan Africa. That's incredible.
Yeah. And then our sister company Waikato is right across the road from us as well. Murray Versfeld and on his side Waikato. Yes. So
what do they do?
Waikato do mainly the milking machines and all the rubberware. All the rubberware that goes in the dairy. They do plate heat exchanges, that type of thing. But focusing mainly on the milking machines.
Okay.
And then
plate heat exchanges, guys. Heat exchanges.
Another part of the company is Rockwood Rotary. They the guys that make the big turntables. Because the cows.
Okay.
The new
DJ
dairy,
obviously.
They go on a big roundabout. They go on a roundabout.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And they get milked. They just sit right next to
it. Saying that you don't want to sit. They battle to get them up.
Okay, no sitting. Stand up.
And then Waikato, they do all the programs for the Effie milk programs and that, where the cows they've either got a necklace or an ear tag.
Yeah.
And it steps onto the table. The computer picks it up and knows
checks
exactly
the
weight, knows exactly what's got to be fed.
Wow.
It records the reading, so that if there's anything wrong with that cow, you pick it up virtually.
I need one of those for my family. Just stand on there, I'll tag him on the ear.
Okay. But let's focus on the.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Wendy Taylor's watching. Fantastic, Wendy Taylor. Do you know Wendy Taylor?
I know Wendy Taylor from Gino Spot.
Wendy Thompson. Wendy Taylor, thank you very much, Wendy.
Wendy Taylor.
Love to have you. Netty Hussy.
He tells me that every single day. Alan, another one of my work colleagues, him and I have a competition every month to see who can sell the most. So he's my regular rival.
The rival, there we go. So, I'm glad to see you guys are obviously sitting and clearly at the moment it's almost you can't bring in enough stock. So that's it's like solar batteries. Amazing that's growing so much.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about obviously the oval racing is amazing. And I love the fact that it's contained, so you can watch these cars going around. Scribanti is that's a little bit more.
Scribanti,
it's road racing.
It's road racing, and also it's I won't say laid back. It has its moments, but it's I really enjoy the classics and the historics.
Yes.
They race there. The escorts, and there are some beautiful cars out there. Just think Sid Lipstrew with a Toyota Celica in Castrol Toyota colours. Real replica cars, and these things go like hell. And it starts off with Street and Fine class is a class that you can. You
tell me about the classes, because where do you start? Let's just give you a little bit of history there, because they normally start with a novice section or whatever.
There is no real novice section, but you could start in the street and fine cars, which caters for. Okay. You could bring Philippa's car there on a Saturday, and you sign an indemnity.
Bring my EcoSport.
Yeah, and then it's a handicap race. You'll go out and qualify. they work out your times, and then you start a staggered start. So all the cars theoretically, if you can stick to those same times, will cross the finish line at the same time. They should. So it leads to some.
Just unlap themselves.
Exactly, and I enjoy it because there's always guys pushing it to the limit. So
it's like, I'm gonna bring my upliftment here, come over the golf or my upliftment, or Sierra or my whatever. Gary can bring his Opel, gooi, and just go for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you start racing a car, it's a different story from when you're on the road.
Yeah,
your brakes and your stuff.
Then
heat and
exactly what happens, and I mean, the guys some of them spend a lot of money. The regional saloons, the Class A cars, the likes of the Scribantes and the Davidsons and Nick and
the Audis, the two Audis that they had,
the two Audis
and Davidson, Nick Davidson.
Nick's got a V8, an Audi with a V8 motor in it, which is flippant quick, which will run against Chelsea Scribanti in the Lamborghini Hurricane.
Yes.
Aldo has got a new Hurricane. Silvio's still got his one. Aldo has got a new one, and they gave Aldo's one to
Chelsea. I saw that because I saw him at the golf the other day. He says, "I'm come to give those boys a run for their money." Somebody tagged them because I'll tell you what, they'll enjoy the show too. Greg Pastor, how's that Merc that Royce had to get past?
The last street and fine car. Royce Griffin has got a very, very quick Honda Civic, and there was a guy in a massive Merc that would come out the corner sideways. Yeah, it was. And I just said, just watch this car's body roll through the S's, and it was fantastic to watch. But the Oak had an absolute jaw, and
Royce, old E-class.
Yeah, no, it was a big old. And
Gary had one of those as well.
I'm trying to think what the guy's name
is. Blue Mercedes.
It was his first time out at Scribanti, and he loved every minute. But the truth is, it went. Once he got that thing wound up down the straight,
really,
it went. But once Royce Griffin got past him in that Honda Civic, Royce's car is set up as I think it's actually a drag car.
Oh, really? Okay.
But he races in the street and fine cars and untouchable.
Yeah. Oh, really? So, just comes through as a winner all the time. So that's for the guys that want to start, and then sort of next one up would be
the next, probably
A class or what?
The D classes you go down to class F in regionals, and which is very much like the stock cars. Your city golf, you can pick up a decent city golf for about 40,000 and go and have fun
and blow it up.
Yeah,
buy another one.
classes D, E, and F is where all the real racing action is going, and so
the guys with a little bit of experience then as well, obviously.
Yeah, most of them tires become play a big part.
Yeah, but they're expensive.
Every race meeting, the guys you go and talk to them in the pits, and I've put a limited slip diff into it now, and they permanently because you're racing against the clock, really. I mean, everybody, what's your best time? And I'm into the 119s now. And then I just put it in the back of my head, and then I know. Then I check the times as they come past. I've got a printout on the live on the screen. I watch the live timing. And so I know a lot of them, he's just done, or he or she's just done her personal best time. I wonder what they've done, or what they've done in that car, and I'll go and find out. So, you tell a story within a story, and there's always racing within the race. It's not all about the Class A cars or the Class B cars.
Your competition
within the licorice, all sorts, where all the action's happening behind there. And that Ryan Fasaki that was commenting, Stephen Phillips from Specsavers, these guys, and Dr. Gerard Oosthuizen. There's a whole lot of BMW E-series BMWs that race as well. Dean Ball, flippin' wizard with the BMWs. That's converted a whole lot of them to race cars as well.
Wow.
And East London, there's a whole lot of them up in East London and in PE as well.
Yeah.
So that's the regional saloons, and then there's open tops as well. Single seaters, growing nicely.
What are they?
The Lotus 7s.
That's like a mini F1 kind of thing.
Or like a mini Le Mans car. The Sport 2000 and the Nardinis. they raced with the Lotus 7s as well.
What was that double Hayabusa thing that blew up?
Yeah, that was Silvio's.
Silvio's one.
Silvio's, but that was a Chevron.
Chevron.
I think a B52 Chevron with twin Hayabusa motors.
Twin motorbike engines.
Yeah.
2 motorbike engines in one car.
Yeah, no, that thing was unbelievable.
Jeez, like, have you ever raced motorcycles, P? And have you ever been to the Isle of Man and woman to be PC? Man and woman. Isle of Man and woman to be PC.
The only island I've been to was a couple of weeks ago, a Portuguese island. So yeah, so
okay,
I've
not
never,
Isle of Man yet.
No, and I've never raced motorcycles other than around our yard as a youngster with a Honda SS50.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's
I think Greg had I was using SS50 as well. Greg, I don't know what he had, a Honda, and then he had an XR500. I think he used to ride him and Colin Lyle. But so it's the Chevron's open tops then are sort of smaller, lighter weight.
Lighter weight, yeah.
Lighter weight,
a lot of just aero bodywork. It's basically a tube frame with aero bodywork on them, and yeah, proper sports cars.
Yeah.
And there's some very neat ones. Jean-Ray Marais, it's his birthday today as well. He's got a Sport 2000 and 2 Nardinis that they race. Nardini. It's a locally made.
Sound Italian.
Yeah, it's an Italian design, but a local guy that built them up. Obviously, Mr. Nardini, I think he was.
Okay.
So
probably an Italian immigrant like my father. Must have been. But I see Wendy Taylor said she worked with Michelle.
Yes, I know. Sorry, I did realise. Worked with Michelle. I didn't realise that afterwards. Sorry, Wendy.
Yes. And I see there's one lady I know that started racing as well as Debbie Statler. I don't know if Debbie, but it could be I don't know if it's Victory or this the other one.
Debbie Statler.
Yeah, but someone knows Debbie Tager because she should be watching this as well. She sent me a picture of her car, so it must be one of those starting sort of novice ones as well. But like it's just obviously been sorted out with the lighter bodywork and so for people that are thinking, I should have a go,
There's a couple of girls or ladies that are racing, and some very talented drivers. Gary Marais from East London, who's a very very well known motor racer. He raced Polo Cup, and his daughters race main circuit and at Victory stock cars as well, and very very good drivers. So yeah.
Lovely. Oh, was that Michael Webster? So then you also had an SS50, Brendan. All the best from UK.
Yeah.
You also had one.
Yeah.
What was the SS50?
It was a little road bike, but it belonged to another one of my cousins, and he fell off it and didn't want to ride it again. But he had it reboard, so it was actually about a 70.
Oh.
And geez, it went like the clappers against all the modern. It was just the era when the Meteor Bobcats and the Meteor Tornadoes were coming out, and it used to knock the shit out of them. This old clapped out SS50 used to draw.
Do you remember Zundup?
No.
Yeah, and anybody remember the Zundups? They used to be at Toby's Motors here in Wolver. He used to bring them in. I don't know where he brought them from, but everybody had a Zundup. It's like a scrambler kind of thing. It was great. And then and then obviously top class is going to be the Huracans, the Lamborghinis. Yeah. I see the Scribantes are doing this GT3.
Yeah, they're here on the 14th of May.
Yeah. That's like the supercars, like the McLarens and the Porsches and the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you cannot believe the beauty of those cars and how quickly they go around Aldo Scribante racing. I mean, 57 seconds, 58 seconds, and the guys are flying, and they just the sound of them, and it's I just urge everybody to get out to Aldo Scribante on the 14th of May.
14th of May. 14th of May.
Spectators are welcome back at last.
Yes.
Get out there, bring the bra fires, and
watch Chelsea. Give things to his son.
You see, I know her as Debbie Bounds, not Debbie Statler.
She races. Debbie Bounds.
Yes, Debbie Bounds. Yeah, she races the V8s, the big.
Does she race? This is the big ones, eh?
Yep.
No, she can take it. She's tough, that girl.
Yep.
And so she races nicely as well. Is she doing well? Is she doing well?
Yep.
Go, Debbie. I'll shout for you as well. Okay. And racing against the guys as well, obviously.
It doesn't matter. As soon as
It's
that
just
visor goes
they're
down.
racing drivers.
As soon as that visor goes down,
Poof, go.
It's like flicking a switch.
Putting it flat.
For
Because
sure.
she's, I knew Debbie from medical aid days. She used to sort out all the medical aid problems, but
Okay.
very focused, that girl. I bet you she gets that engine like sorted. I can imagine. Jane Jardine as well, always.
We'll always have Paris.
Paris. Yes.
I could write a book about the bullshit that goes on about touring this country, going to Formula One powerboat races. I raced with George Fischer. I mean, George that he had 13 starts at Le Mans. Well known, an absolute motorsport legend.
And some motorsport stuff. I mean, so he went to powerboats.
Peter Lindenberg got him involved in
powerboats.
Yeah. Okay. And it was supposed to be just a one-off thing for East London Harbour Festival. And I think George, I think he finished 4th or 5th.
Okay.
And then then it was the bug had bitten, and so
those boats are unbelievable. I mean, just to give to fill the accent as well. If they haven't seen those powerboats racing, I mean, those are big engines. What are they?
It's a V6. It's a V6 motor pushing out about 350 brake horsepower and pushing a boat that weighs less than 600 kgs. And then the gearbox was virtually a 1-to-1 drive gearbox as well. I think they were 14, 15. So one revolution of the prop of the motor is one revolution on the prop, and that's why it's the fastest accelerating craft that you get, and it's the sharpest turning. You get the highest G forces in a Formula One powerboat. In an airplane, if you turn sharp, it drifts away.
Yes,
so you don't
give the air just gives.
You don't feel it. With a boat, it's like driving on rails that you hook it and it turns. So it was an unbelievable time of my life. I mean, I raced boats for close to 20 years.
Man, okay.
Yeah, 6 years in Formula One. Started in open boats, but really jumped into the deep end. Yes. Racing a Raven Wildcat, which was an open boat with a V6 on the back of it. Just wasn't the EFI, the fuel injected motor. It was the normally aspirated, the carb motors on the back of it. But it, I mean,
still went like
hell. No safety cell, no safety belts, and that's what I started racing. And there were a whole lot of them that used to race. And I mean, once a month it would either be North End Lake, it would be Port Alfred, East London
Harbour,
higher up under the bridge, past the yacht club.
Okay.
Used to race
the Harbour Festival.
Yeah, the Harbour Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there emceeing, and I used to watch the powerboating going around there. You were there.
Did a couple of harbour festivals in East London.
Yes.
But East London, we used to go up there often, and then, as I said, Queenstown. So it was a very competitive class. But slowly but surely, the guys started getting chucked out of the boats and hurting themselves, and I realized I'm going to hurt myself in this thing, because you start becoming too vinghat in it. And so one of the guys that I raced with, he was racing inflatable powerboats, rubber ducks at that stage. A mate of mine, Gerald Beach. We got together and travelled around the country and fetched all the Formula 3s that we could find. It's just a scaled down Formula 1 boat. Formula 3 used to be a massive class internationally, and a couple of the Formula 3s found their way to South Africa. Guys brought them in and used to run 70 horsepower motors on the back of them. And so that's where, then from racing the Raven Wildcats, started racing Formula 3s, which we did for a long time. Also the same PE, East London, Port Alfred, Queenstown. But then Formula One was taking a bit of a dip. There had been a split in the associations. There was a breakaway group, and
it's like the churches, they keep on doing that.
So
the sponsors go one way, another way.
That's what it all boiled down to.
So isn't it a case of like a sponsor like Yamaha Motors want to sponsor that one, and then Marino want to sponsor these ones, and they can't have the same competition?
Yeah, no, exactly. So. And it's just politics got involved in Formula One. So then, because the numbers had dropped, and for the harbour festivals and that, we then got invited to bring the Formula 3s, so we would piggyback on the festivals. And we did a couple of festivals together with them, East London, PE, and Mossel Bay as well. We went down to race in Mossel Bay as well. And
where would you race at Mossel Bay? I'm just trying to think. In the sea.
Yeah, in the sea. It's basically.
So you can actually, those boats you can quit in the sea.
Yeah,
not too choppy.
No, not too choppy. There were that day the Formula Ones. It was too rough for the Formula Ones to go out, so it was only the Formula 3s that actually raced at. We just did a demonstration race just to entertain the crowd. But slowly but surely, the bug started to bite when you can in a Formula 3.
Yes, 70 horsepower motor. You want to rather get those ones that the drug dealers in Miami have got, and get 4 massive motors. What do they call it? The Go Fasts.
The Go Fasts, those big cigarette boats. That, then I had done a lot of work with the South African Powerboat Powerboat South Africa. Ran a development series. They were sponsored by National Ports Authority and had built a whole lot of little, we call them mouse boats. They were made under license from Disneyland. Jimmy Price at High Tech Automotive built the boats. And
is that High Tech the guy that builds the Cobras?
The Cobras and the GT40s.
We must get that guy on as well. He'll be amazingly interesting.
A wealth of information. He's a brilliant guy.
What is his name again?
Jimmy Price.
Jim Price, I think.
Also founder member of the Powerboat Club as well.
Those GT4 GTs, they're beautiful cars.
They are sought after all over the world. And
wow.
They
and based here in PE.
A lot of people don't even know. No, they're out at St Albans, just short of St Albans prison.
No way, so out Wedgwood Way.
Out Wedgwood Way, yeah.
Fantastic.
And most of the stuff is all done in house. They outsource very, very little. Most of the everything from
they build those engine blocks in the whole.
No, the cars leave the country. They're not allowed to leave with an engine.
I see.
They go out as a rolling chassis.
So they build the chassis, everything but the engine, basically. Then, because they get the Ford, I suppose, there's a standard Ford engine in there, like if it's a V8 or
correct,
whatever.
And so Peter Lindenberg has got a share in high tech automotive as well. So there's a link there with Peter and Jimmy. They've been friends for years.
Wow.
I slowly but surely got involved in this lot, and Peter Lindenberg one day said to me, he said, you're gonna carry on racing Formula 3,
or you're gonna come here play with real racing.
So long story short, the one harbour festival, he said, well, meet me at North End Lake, let's go for a test, and I did. It was a I think it was a 1985 Burgess hull, wooden hull, and a guy, Roy Brennan, was driving the boat in the national series at that stage, and I took the boat, and I did. On my second lap, I came down towards the Powerboat Club, and Lindenberg was standing with his hands on his head, going, put it down. But so what's wrong? He says, you're riding this thing too high, you're going to blow it over backwards. Not a chance. I was completely in control. I felt confident because I've been used to racing the Raven Wildcat.
Yes.
You basically sit with your backside on the bottom, and you can feel when there's water touching there. Okay, now then you feel there's nothing. Then you know you're on a cushion of air.
Okay.
So I knew, but then I was hooked. It was just it was just a matter of time. And the next season I had my first Formula One boat. But running tight budget as a privateer in Formula One, you can only buy old boats. You can't buy. And so, I had a bit of a reputation about breaking, or about my boats breaking. I broke one in half in PE Harbour. I lost the whole right hand sponson coming down the back. Sponson. Sponson. You got a left sponson and a right sponson.
Because that's like a catamaran.
It's like a catamaran. Yeah.
Okay. So the two holes that come down, and then so your whole sponson on this side.
Whole sponson left me, and the boat just rolled over and sank with me in it.
No.
So that was the.
What about the motor and everything?
I don't know. The rescue guys were very quick. I saw Peter Lindenberg was actually on one of the rescue boats, And
you've got to get there quick and get you out, isn't it?
He had stopped racing by that stage, and just a story about Peter. People will always ask me, you raced Formula One. Do you know Peter Lindenberg?
Yes.
I said, yeah, of course I know Peter. He was like 9-time South African champion. But you know what? The first time I raced against Peter Lindenberg, I actually beat him. Well, yeah, he must be good. But I don't tell him that Peter ended up in hospital on life support.
Really?
Because he had a massive accident in Saldanha Bay. Very, very similar to the accident that I had, where the boat just goes over sideways and from full speed to sudden stop. And Peter nearly died. I took him. I actually lifted him out of the rescue boat. He had been underwater for close to 4 minutes. And luckily, the water in Saldanha was so cold that that they managed to revive him, resuscitate him. And I stood watching, actually holding a blanket to keep the media and that. While away from them, while the rescue guys were working on him, and just the quality of the rescue guys and the dedication and knowledge that those guys have got. And I saw and I witnessed firsthand that they brought this virtually back from the dead. It just gave me the confidence to push it that little bit harder, because if anything happens, you've got these world class. Our guys were world class. The rescue guys, I've got them to look after you. So
because you obviously, if you have a crash like that, you're unconscious and you lie in the water, and then you're not like going to hold your breath. You're going to suck in this water.
At the beginning of every season, you've got to do a compulsory submersion test, or a dunk test, as they call it, where you get strapped into a simulator, and it will throw you over left or right, backwards, forwards, and you've got to get out by yourself the first time. You've got to get the steering wheel off, take the seat belts off, open the canopy, and get out the boat by yourself. And then the second time, you've got to wait for the rescue divers to get to you and to help you out. And then the third time that they do it, you've got to pretend that you're unconscious, and you've got to just sit there and wait.
And wait for the rescue guys.
Them. They'll come and they'll give you a DV, put the DV in your mouth, and once you a
DV, that's
the dive valve.
Dive valve for breathing.
Yeah, once you breathe in, okay, but now you must realize you're upside down, strapped into this thing, and as you breathe out, the bubbles go straight up your nose.
Oh,
so
really?
Your first reaction is just to cough. So it takes a bit of getting used to.
I've never done it before. I've never done it before, actually.
Yeah, so I used it to. I was always the first one in, because because of my paddle skiing and wave skiing experience. I was used to being upside down, strapped onto something, so it didn't really faze me. Okay. So I would always be the first one to get in for the dunk test, and then pull the piss out of the rest of the guys, because they're all nervous.
Nervous, of course.
I think Gary has got the footage of.
Yes, let's have a quick look at your crash. Now you had just give an introduction to it. I think
it was racing in the South African Formula One Championship, and Maputo Harbour used to be controlled by National Ports Authority. It was controlled by South Africa.
SAPA.
Yeah, and so it was one of the legs of our South African Championships was in Mozambique, and we were racing in the sea at the Holiday Inn. A beautiful venue, and a well organized race, and jeepers, the people certainly go out of your way. Formula One powerboats in Mozambique, and a brilliant event. And I was racing for the Remax Formula One team at that stage, and I graduated from a wooden boat to a carbon fiber boat, which came with it was a lighter, stronger, but it didn't turn like a wooden boat, because there's not the flex. The wooden boats used to flex into the corners and turn. You could turn it a lot lighter, a lot quicker. Where the carbon fiber boats you get to the turn buoy, and they sort of overshoot the turn buoy and drift a bit before they hook and then turn. So it was a different driving style, and I was just come to grips with the driving style, and I'd had the electrics of the boat sorted out. I've been plagued with the electrical issues the whole season. And I took the boat to a guy, Patrick Lees, who was a South African Formula One champion, and he was living in PE at that stage. So him and I went through the boat and rewired it and got rid of the electrical problem. Okay. So this boat was flipping on song. The motor had just been redone, the gearbox had been redone, and I was competitive. I went to Mozambique and was flipping competitive. First heat in very rough conditions. I still when we arrived there and we're having to look at the rescue guys laying out the circuit.
Yes.
My mate from Daryl Cookard, who's been commenting here, I said to him, put a camera on the rocks over here facing that turn, boy, because somebody's going to come undone there.
Put a camera there, he says.
Because somebody's going to come undone. I said, I could see there was a sandbar, knowing, from growing up in the sea and paddle skiing. I said, there's a sandbar there, the water's shallow, and somebody's going to come undone. So they
put a camera
They put a camera facing that turn, boy. And race number 1 went out, and I think I qualified about fifth. And made my way up to second. I finished heat number 1. I finished in second place. Yeah. So I was second on the grid, and the second heat was a reverse grid. Sorry, I was second last on the grid because somebody I heard when waiting for the flags to go down, somebody fired their motor too soon, and I just saw somebody go, and they jumped the start. But once everybody went off and got around the first turn, boy, and we started sorting things out, I found myself, I was up in the middle of the pack. Yeah. And then sort of 3/4 of the way through the race, I got up to second place.
Okay.
And I was chasing this guy at Domingo Duarte, and Domingo was in a wooden boat, same boats that I used to, the same hulls that I used to race. And he just kept out cornering me and flipping, making me drink water every time in the corner. And then I decided down the back straight, I said, this is it now, I'm going to run slightly wider. And I said, as soon as I see Domingo turn, I'm going to turn as well, and just see if I can carry that speed through the corner. Let's have a look at the video.
See what happened. That is one more of a thing that.
Yeah, it doesn't look so vicious there, but if you watch it in slow motion and you see the impact, and I mean from 204
there we go
204 kilometers an hour, you see I hit the swell about there, and that's it, and you see the canopy there, the canopy is going
already.
Yes, my canopy is broken.
And you
off.
strapped in.
So yeah, you strapped in. You got a 5-point harness. And at that stage, I was lights out.
Just play it again there, Gary. Let's have another quick squiz.
I was completely
unconscious.
Unconscious, yeah.
Whoa. That's it. Oh, man, that is just...
Yeah, you see the sound.
Oh, there you see the
spray.
That's where you should have gone with the canopy.
The old days, the guys used to. I mean, they had breakaway cockpits that you went with it. So, yeah, I woke up upside down, underwater. And
so you actually were? Did you remember that?
I remember it as clear as day. And this suddenly this ginger beer coloured water and upside down. And I initially panicked, and I couldn't get the steering wheel off because I'm a big oak. I had to get the steering wheel off to be able to get out the boat. And I grabbed, and I just couldn't get the quick release out. And at that stage I was panicking. And then I don't know. It's just something just said to me, just calm down. We've practiced this so often. And I'm left-handed, so I took my left glove off. I reached down, took the quick release. Steering wheel came off easy. And then I thought, well, let me open the canopy, because that's normally the difficult part to get to the clips which sit over here. And
the canopy's gone.
I've got no canopy, so that was the easy part. And I thought, you know what, I'm actually okay. At that stage, I could hear a motor above me. It was the first of the divers on the jet ski. You see him coming to get me. So I thought, you know what, this will actually look far better on TV if I just wait. I'll just wait. Make it more dramatic. But at the same stage, I realized, I've got this
crazy things going through your head.
Absolutely crazy. I had this burning sensation from my backside down to my ankles. This like I was sitting on briquettes, on red hot coals, with this burning sensation. I thought, I'm actually in the shit here, I think.
Right.
So with that, the diver came to me. I still remember him sticking his head in, looking at his big eyes. And if you look reverse through goggles, guys, these big eyes. And so I said to him, okay, I took the dive bell from him, put it in my mouth, and said to him, okay, and then signaled to him that, you know, I'm like, my back, there's just calm down, I'm okay. And then that, you know, I waited some more. I thought, what the hell?
Right.
With that, the next diver arrived now. Now it's been a couple of minutes underwater, and I haven't come out yet. And he arrived there, sort of knife between the teeth, coming to cut me, because then they cut the safety belts and get you out. I was just, calm down, guys. So they eventually had to lift the nose of the boat because it was so shallow. The guys, the rescue guys, were actually standing, lifted the nose. It was shallow. Lifted the nose of the boat. Took me out, and so then all the flotation in the life jacket is in the front. So floated there, and I said to them, bring the spine board. I said, I've broken my back. They were, when we were laughing. I said, bring the spine board, chaps. There's something seriously wrong here. So they put me on the spine board, and I still laughed at them. I said, you're going to battle to pull me up onto this boat. So eventually they got me onto the boat, and Martin Jeffrey, who was in charge of the rescue at that stage, he floored it, and I just, every single ripple then, just this immense pain. That's where I knew I was properly in the shit. And I said, well, just slow down. I said, I'm hurt. Just slow down. So they took me. You see the footage of them carrying me off the beach there. Martin is the big guy in front, and just after that they dropped me. Martin stumbled, and I fell head first into the sand. And I just remember in hospital for about the first 2 weeks, every single day in bed they came to change the sheets. There was still shale from the beach. In the bed coming out, so it was obviously in every orifice in my body at that stage. But it was a scary time. They took me. I still remember the incident like it was yesterday. So do I, Michelle.
I'm sure. I mean, you're human. And I bet you, and Michelle was like, you're full of cuck. I can't believe that you've actually done this. I told you should never have been in that boat, and you should have never done it. I should have stayed in Formula 3. I'm still short of an onboard camera.
Yeah, but Grant Gibson, he said you made that rescue easy. He was the diver, the first diver that got to me. And you know, it was a textbook rescue, but because I had practiced and we had done it so often, and that's why every year since then I try and go to the submersion tests, the dunk tests, and talk to the guys and tell them how important it is that you've got to actually just relax. I'm living proof. I'm still here, and I can walk, which is testament to our rescue guys, because
did they tell you that there's a chance you're gonna?
That
back was broken, or
it was. I broke T10 vertebra was broken into 4 pieces. It was like somebody had taken it with a hammer and hit it on top, because it's a compression fracture. I took the whole impact on my head, and it squashed me in the seat, because the canopy of the boat was gone. So
you hit that canopy off.
Yeah,
basically.
I hit the canopy. I broke my cheekbone. I broke my jaw. I broke a rib, and then my back was broken in 4 places. And as I say, T10 vertebra that was shattered. I mean, that was 4 pieces, and then the 2 above were fractured, and the 1 below was fractured as well. So the doctors never know the extent of the damage to your spinal cord at that stage. So even when I was they took me to hospital in Maputo. First of all, they tried to organize mercy flights from Joburg to come and fetch me. But our rescue director eventually said, listen, just by the time that plane has taken off, we can be in Nelspruit. And luckily a brand new Mediclinic had opened about 2 weeks prior to not in Maputo, in Nelspruit.
Oh wow.
So they took me to hospital in Nelspruit first.
Drove you there?
Yeah, in the ambulance. But already on morphine.
Wow.
And the pain. Yeah, neurological pain you cannot describe. I mean, it's the worst.
Michelle will say giving birth is probably a little bit sore.
I used all the morphine, and I used all the pethidine. I mean, the ladies that give birth, I used all the pethidine that they had as well. And they x-rayed me in hospital in Maputo, which was a scary all on its own, because just lying there, and the mold that was growing in the cornices. In the cornices, of the roof, and the X-ray machine was still a big metal bed that you lie on, and they put plates in.
Sorry, everybody out!
Yeah, exactly. And the doctor spoke no English. He only spoke Portuguese, and every time he pushed that tray back in there, it would clunk. And eventually I said to him, I don't know if you can speak English, but if you do that once more, I'm going to punch you.
I'm going to hit you now.
I'm going to
give you a clap.
Yeah, all he eventually came with these very basic pictures and just said T10. You could see T10 was
T10. You espetada. Same thing.
So yeah, the call was made then to go straight to Nelspruit. So I spent Sunday night in ICU in Nelspruit. I used their CAT scan. I was their first first patient to go through their CAT scan, brand new.
Sure.
All their facilities were brand new. I must say the care that they gave me that first night was unbelievable.
And they were probably like, "Whoa, we can use this! Finally, we got a choice. Check this out."
You know,
and you push this button.
On a Sunday night, you don't know what you're getting. You know, have you? Do these people know how to work this machine? So
well, some people in Nelspruit, I think the Webbers are there. Martin Webber, they're up there in Nelspruit. They sometimes watch. Jan van Tonnes, I still remember Martin with his arm tats and big Oakley sunglasses.
He actually lives in Martin lives in Nelspruit now as well. He heads up medical rescue guys up in.
Oh, man. Special kind of people, those, man. Hannes Els, the
Leicester,
man, the myth, the legend.
DJ on Leicester FM. He does the sport on Leicester FM. Something that I'm passionate about as well. Radio and sport. And
fantastic. I'm going to get my song on Leicester FM there as well. I've got a song for you, Jan Rebecca. Was it Jan Hannes?
Hannes.
Yes, to sort out that. But it's a special kind of person that's in a rescue. The rescue guys. I mean, they can see anything. I see blood, and I'm like,
yeah.
I kill.
I mean, that's one thing. It doesn't matter what form of motorsport you're involved in. They become like family. And you know, I see those guys today. I pick up like we saw each other yesterday.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Martin and I share a birthday as well. And so we. You know, as I said, you'll go months without seeing these guys, and you just connect like this, and have a doc and talk about the past.
And you've also got that. It's like with anything, you've got that similar interest as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And so was that was it for you? Michelle said, "No, you will never get in another motorboat again." Yeah,
it's once They took me to Mulemed Hospital in Pretoria, which is the top spinal unit.
Because then that's serious stuff. When you're in that situation, you think the worst for sure.
Yeah. No. And they thought the worst as well.
Yeah.
Because after when they operated on me, Dr. Taron was he headed up the South African Spinal Association, and he operated on me and. The day that I left, I was transferred out of ICU that I could go into a ward. The sister in charge of ICU said to him, and said, "Doctor, where are we going with him? Second or third floor?" And so he said, "Well, I don't know. Let's see." And he came back and he took his pen and he pricked my toes. And he said, "Can you feel this? Can you feel this? Can you feel this?" No,
nothing.
Could feel nothing. So then he started getting worried. So then I just had a sheet covering me, and I still had a catheter inserted into my
urethra Franklin.
Yes, and so he put his hand under there and grabbed my dick and shook it like this. And
shake someone. What kind of doctor is this?
Yeah, so he said, "Did you feel that?" I said, "No."
Oy.
He said, "You sure?" I said, "Well, do it again." And he did it. Yeah. So he said, "Did you feel it?" So I said, "Yes, maybe." I said, "Can you do it harder?" And with that, then he said, "You're going to be okay." And that's where, with my recovery, that's where it started. You've just got to believe in the best, because they come with all these horror stories. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. There's another man with a back injury,
Jonathan Krebs. Yeah. Nothing like breaking your back. The pain never ends. You still get a bit of pain. back pain. Just when you have to do the dishes.
No,
Hey, Michelle.
no, but that's one of the most awkward positions.
Terrible,
yeah,
terrible.
No, that one.
You can't do that.
The dishwasher, even
Brutal.
battle.
Sweeping the floor. Oh, man.
So,
Right. Gary's saying actually we've got a guest. We've got a guest on here. So we need some headphones, which we'll gift you here. Let's see, can you get those on there? And then I'm going to put mine on here. If you
come
can
a little bit
closer. Do you want to move swap chairs with me for now?
Okay.
Just for now, while George is on, we've got George Fischer online. He's popping in for a little bit of a hello. Let's see if we can hear him. Hello, George.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
good, man.
Georgie, how's
Good.
it, man?
I really didn't want to hear that hospital story of yours, or the final part of it.
I know, we're still not sure if that's actually true or not. You did.
That's
you
dinkum.
actually did that.
Yes, yeah. No,
You know.
that's dinkum, but that's
It's a good stories for Gino Spot, yeah. Tonight.
Well, a wanker doctor then.
yeah, no, he was, but geez, he knew his story, yeah.
You know, he was up for all sorts of things after that.
George, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's great seeing you guys.
No, like I was saying to Gino earlier, I said I could write a book about all the shit that went on while we were touring the country. There's some crazy stories that I can tell from.
We could bring out like a 50-episode series on that.
Go on, George, is there a specific story you could tell about Brennan? Have you got something in mind?
Not off the top of my head. Brendan could probably be quicker off the mark than me when it comes to that.
Give him a prompt.
I think the most legendary one would be when we do spontaneous things, and that was going to Richards Bay to go and buy the Seabolt from Russell Chard. And we were supposed to overnight in Umtata. We were going to braai with a friend of ours and one of our sponsors, because I was racing for George at that stage, and we were going to braai with this friend of ours, Daryl Rogers, which we ended up doing. I ran late because I had to do work at a couple of dairies on the Alexandria coastline.
Adding in those bit of extra money making on the way in.
And so I ran late and picked George up at our head office. The race team used to be based at the Ganubi Hotel. So picked up George and off we went and then bride in Umtata. And whose idea was it to carry on, at flippin', I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, to carry on to Richards Bay straight away?
I assume it was the idea of a couple of hundreds.
I'm sure a couple of brandies.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw any blame around here.
But give some background on George.
George, tell us, you raced, is it Le Mans?
Le Mans. He had 13 starts at Le Mans.
What did you race there, George?
I've raced Porsche 956s, 962s, Toyota prototypes.
Toyota?
Yeah, the Jag.
The Toyotas as well. Sorry? No, so Toyotas and Jags, you say?
Porsches. Mainly Porsches.
Sorry, so we're just getting I think we're getting a bit of feedback on your side. We just need to switch off the monitor. No, the actual speaker here, Gary. Just take it out there. No.
The headphones.
No. Gary can just switch the monitor off. That's fine. We're just getting a bit of feedback from the monitor. So then take it off there. But George, so tell us about the Le Mans starts. That's an incredible achievement, that, man. To have so many starts there. And did you have some good races?
We had some fantastic races, and obviously, some bad races.
Yes.
It all, every year had a new venture. So, yeah.
Any funny stories that you can remember, Eddie?
Probably not to be spoken publicly, no.
Sure.
But, it was quite a serious event, so you never really went there for the fun of it. You went, obviously my ambition was to win the damn thing, and
yes,
and we tried pretty hard, and I had a class win there.
Okay.
But overall, we just never got there.
Yeah, there's obviously a vibe there at the Le Mans. I mean, that's a very historic race.
400,000 plus people over the weekend.
Wow.
It's certainly there's a lot of vibe that goes on, and you know, there's a lot of pressure. You know, you're driving expensive cars and you don't want to destroy them.
Yes.
And
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just part of my prototype career. I think I did 180 plus races in prototypes throughout my career. So 13, 14 Le Mans, whatever it was, was a small part of it.
Yeah.
But also,
but obviously a big part. Yeah, Japan. I mean, 12 seasons.
Yeah. 12 seasons in Japan as well. Gee, was that with also with Toyota there as well?
Both Porsche and with Toyota, with the factory team there.
Gee whiz. What kind of cars are you riding there? Is that what class?
It was Group C those days, which was basically just under Formula One. I mean, a lot of your Formula One drivers came through Group C, namely Schumacher, Eddie Irvine, Jacques Villeneuve.
Yeah, Jacques Villeneuve. She was.
Well, junior Jacques, not Gilles.
Yeah, not Gilles, not Gilles. No. Yeah, no. But that's incredible. And so your history with your history with George is quite long as well. Where did you hook up?
Hooked up. I think it was after the East London Formula One festival, the Powerboat race in East London, where George made his Formula One debut.
Debut as well.
And yeah, we hooked up there, and then a couple of races later started racing for him. So yeah, they were crazy times. I guess Sonia prompted him in the background there.
Yes,
but yeah, we had some very, very good times on the road. You know, for us, we had a checklist. We're going to go racing, and George always had a checklist to make sure everything's packed. And on top of it was the cooler box, brandy, ice, all sorted.
Really, this first thing you check.
But yeah, we toured.
You make me sound like a puscat, yeah. Which gets back to the entire story which you've forgotten, Brendan.
Yes.
So yeah, we decide, and I'm gonna put the blame on Daryl, because Daryl's bakkie was meant to go in for a service the next day.
Yes.
And he said, well, if he can organize one of the juniors at work to take his bakkie in for a service, then if we leave now, he'll come with us. So we spoke about it. Bruce Repsol, the Trotskar trip to fetch the boat. So we obviously had another beer and discussed it, and then decided, what the hell? I'd been drinking Olsen's because
Olsen's.
Yeah, it was a lighter, less alcohol in it. So I said to them,
it's still light.
I've had a case of Olsen, so yeah, we can go. I'm fine to drive. So so we said, Daryl said, okay, well, he's going to go and change quickly and pack his suitcase.
Yeah.
And he disappeared into the bedroom and came back with a pair of rugby shorts on, no shoes, a bow tie.
Oh, nice.
And a suitcase. His suitcase was a cooler box full of beer. and that's what we put. I had a Mercedes Vito at that stage, so put it in there. We had a mattress in the back, so one oak could sleep. George decided he would do the first sleeping shift.
DOS. Good choice, George. Good choice.
So we had a single seat in the Vito on the passenger, the left hand side. Obviously the my seat, and Daryl was up front with me, and then George was just behind me on the single seat, and then a mattress and the cooler box in the back. And so we decided we're going to go to Richards Bay to go and buy this boat. And so George had an envelope full of money. We stuck it.
It's like Danny or Don going to
stuck it in the Vito's cubbyhole, and off we went. And we hadn't even got out of town. And Daryl said, "Whoa! We've got to buy something to eat."
Oh yeah.
So we stopped. I think it was a Sassel garage. We stopped and went in there. And Daryl got shamrock pies. I mean, shamrock pies and Red Bulls, and loaded up. He gets to the counter, and he hasn't got any money. He hasn't got a wallet. He's got anything. So Kelly, there, pay. So my credit card, and we pay, and off we go. We hit the road, and we listening to music and having a couple of beers, and every time, Georgie, just put your hand up like this, and there was another drink, and it was a musical journey.
Yeah, sure.
Until I passed the place where this incident happened. One of us needed to have a leak. In fact, all of us needed to have a leak after the amount of beer and brandy that we had had. So I stopped on the side of the road on this nice downhill, and Daryl got out on the left hand side. I just got out on the driver's side and stood in the middle of the road, because jeepers, I mean, have you ever seen how big the sky is and the stars in the trans sky when
incredible
when it's pitch dark? It was absolutely beautiful. So I stood in the middle of the road and made this big wet patch in the center of the road, and George and Daryl on the other side. And Daryl found a chevron board, these little signs, and picked this up. He wanted this for his bar, and he kept saying, this is hieroglyphics. I don't know if you remember him telling you, George. He said, no, this is actually hieroglyphics, and he wants this thing. So he put it in the back of the Vito, and then got in. I got back in, and then George got in, and this chevron board was still there. So he first of all he put it underneath the mattress, and so we in.
Okay. Done.
Off we go. And so as we left, I cranked the music up. Right said Fred, "You're my mate." And we're cooking along. We're going, and after, I don't know, probably 5-6 minutes, we're over the hill, and Daryl takes a pie and he hits it down, and we got to eat.
Yeah.
And so I take a pie, and he goes, "Georgie." And
no, George.
He turns around and he says, "George is gone. George is not here." So I said, "Don't talk shit, man." And I turned and I saw the sliding door was still open.
Oh, you're driving with the sliding door open. You didn't realize that.
The music was too loud. So on the Vito, there's a button on the dashboard to switch the lights on. So I switched the lights on, and that's when I shat myself, because there was no George. There was no George.
And the door opened.
There's an empty seat, no George, and the sliding door's open there.
Oh, my soul.
I stopped, and the first I started giggling, because I said, "Where's George?" So Daryl looks at it and he says, like, "Hey George, if you're in my cooler box, I'm gonna blister you." Yeah. Sorry. That's what he says. So I said, we turn around, and I'd seen a dead donkey lying on the side of the road. So when we passed it, I said to Daryl, I said, "I know this isn't George lying here. This is definitely, it's a donkey."
Yeah. Okay. Oh, she's like.
So we drive and we go uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill, and starting to panic now, because, geez, where is this?
Where's George?
And eventually, as we came down the dip and up the other side, I said, "There, look at the wet patch in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
This big wet patch." I said, "That's where we were." But the worst part, George wasn't there.
No George.
So then I shat myself even more.
Yeah.
So
where's he gone?
Do a U-turn and come back slowly. And now we're panicking. And even Daryl's a bigger, and even he was rattled now. Jeez. at least we've got the money. Like,
Yeah, you're right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's
we've
right.
got the money. So we go slowly, and then we see over the Armco barrier, this oak then comes climbing out over the barrier, and gets into the car. And it's like, where were you? So what had happened? He had got into the car, but to close the sliding door was quite awkward. You had to sort of unhook it before it would slide. So he then got out to unhook it, and as he got out, I drove off.
And turned up the music. Nice.
Turned up the music. So
when you got friends like this, who needs enemies, George?
I mean, being stuck in the Transkei at 2 o'clock in the morning is. I've been frightened in the race car a few times, but this probably tops the level of being frightened. and that's why I hid behind the Armco barrier, because I didn't know who was coming either way. Or
so you're scared in a little ball.
Seeing these guys disappear over the hill, I mean,
and then over the next one, and the next one.
Well, I only saw the first one, the first one.
You wouldn't have seen the rest, yeah.
So, that 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it was a seriously frightening event in my life.
I'm sure.
At least we had to talk about it.
Yes,
everything laugh about it.
You guys must have been very, very quiet on the way there.
Well, as for that song that he was...
You're my mate.
You're my mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so much for that.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yes.
and I think to be alone and then also very, very scared and hide behind in the bush.
Well, that's what I did. I mean, when we drove back, in daylight, and you saw there were so many huts and shacks around there, anything could have happened.
I'm sure you would have had some good Komboti or something, and it would have been fun. You could have just pulled in there. You would have been fraught by the time they came to fetch you from the next morning, when they realized all your pies were just sitting in the back.
That's certainly a trip we can write into a
bestseller,
a Netflix series, because no one reads books anymore. We'll do a Netflix series on it.
Netflix series on that one, George. Excellent.
So when he got back and he says, "Yeah, I knew you'd eventually come back as soon as you needed a beer." We wanted to give him food. The first thing that he did was take his cigarettes out of his pocket and count his smokes. But then you didn't have matches or a lighter with you. I think your lighter was still in the car. You just had his smokes with him. One
of those. Oh, George, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on, George. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
George.
Guys, have a lucky evening, and then I assume, Brendan, I'll see you down at Neisner.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we will. Definitely. And good luck. George is taking part in the Samola Hill Climb.
Oh, the Samola Hill Climb. I'm looking forward to that, George. Give it stick.
Let's catch up. I'm doing the Friday Classic, so the rest of the weekend I'm off.
What are you driving in?
I'm in a 924 Porsche.
924. Is that?
Yeah, so it won't be.
What's it, a flat 6 or something? What? Is that a flat 6?
No, it's the 4-cylinder.
No,
4-cylinder. Okay. Lovely. Well, we'll be looking out for you, George.
All people like me, they give me no power.
Thanks, George.
Cheers, Sonia.
Oh, man. Okay, we can swap out if you want.
No problem. You can take these off.
Yeah, let's go on this side. But that's unbelievable, and so many Le Mans, and they are, with your buddies, you've got to. You can't leave them on the side of the road in the middle of the Transkei.
I felt bad about it, but it's just the way. And I mean, imagine trying to do that now. Because that was before I broke my back, so it was like 15, 16 years ago that this happened. But the rest of the trip, I mean, I drove as far as Coxtad, and then No, as far as Port Edward, and then George took over. Yeah,
okay.
George took over. He drove to Richards Bay. We bought the boat, turned around, and went straight back. Back as far as Ganubi. Stopped in Umtata to drop Daryl off, and then went back to Ganubi. So yeah, it was an
I was just saying the difference between powerboat riding and cars. I mean, it seems to be a similar thing.
It's not. Powerboat racing it's like driving a Formula One car through a ploughed field. That's the best way I can explain it. Because the conditions are changing all the time. In a Formula One boat, you've got trim switches on the steering wheel so you can trim the motor in and out and up and down, and a foot throttle, no brakes, and obviously and a steering wheel. So your fingers are busy. Some of the guys nowadays put their down trim. They put it on their foot, so you want to go down, almost use it like a brake. And we used to wire it that it's
motor trim.
The motor trim,
so it pushes it down into it.
And you've got 2 batteries in the boat, so we would the up trim we would wire 12 volts, so the pump would run slowly, and then down you make it 24 volts, so to come back quickly just to stop the boat. So there's all sorts of little tricks in that. But the boats nowadays, the boats that they're running now they are absolutely stunning. They've built big extra crash boxes around.
Safety is pretty much like the Formula One stuff.
You've got a lot more headroom. There's no way that your head would ever hit the side of the boat. You've got compulsory onboard oxygen as well now. A lot of the helmets, it's just
actually got one
built in, so
it doesn't even matter if you're unconscious. You still
the boats have got airbag systems that if it goes over, there's an airbag that comes out behind you, and it blows that it pushes the boat
cockpit
up, so the driver is above the water straight away.
Wow.
And all got radio communications now as well, so it's a lot safer. And that's still one of my dreams would be to go not to race them anymore,
just to have a bit of a go,
but just to go to watch the World Series, a full World Series Formula One race, because they have 24 to 28 Formula Ones on the water, and it's still
a big grid. That's a grid. It's a big. It's a lot of boats. A lot of boats.
So I'd love to even go and commentate at one of those events. I did the Formula 2 World Championships on the Vaal River a couple of years ago. They brought one leg of the Formula 2. It was actually the last leg of the season that they brought to South Africa, and I did that, commentated live commentary and the live streaming. I did the live streaming
as well,
and then was MC at the prize giving afterwards. So that's probably the biggest event that I've done, because it was a whole weekend festival incorporated with this, and they did a music festival free. They opened it up to the public, and it was just masses and masses of people that came in there. And I had to.
You enjoy your music as well?
Yeah, I love. Yes. No, that's what I say.
What's your favorite?
I'm an 80s. They say that the music that you listen to when you were matric is the music you'll listen to for the rest of your life. So anything 80s. I enjoy music trivia, and I specialize in 80s
music trivia dude
80s
as well.
Music and South African music. But a big supporter of South African music, and especially local talent.
Ian Mitchell.
In my connection with Ian and the Music Kitchen. So.
Well, let's have a look at some of the comments. Just a couple of them while we're here. As long as George's Porsche doesn't have a sliding door, it'll be okay. There's Patrick. Bruce Repsol says maybe that's why you had battery problems.
Maybe.
Could be.
What's my wife saying there?
Camilla says never been to oval track racing.
That's on the bucket list. Camilla, I would highly recommend it. This weekend, POTR out on Mission Road. That's the place to be.
Yeah, there's
priorities seem to have remained the same when packing anything.
Booze first, honestly. Give it to me, baby.
I like my music. I always hook on to.
It's a bit of 90s that.
Hook
Pretty
on to.
Fly for a White Guy.
That's the exact one. Yeah,
Keith
we used to, when we used to go and race up at Queenstown, it was always a Eastern Province versus Border. It was like our own mini interprovincial.
Yes.
But half the, not even, I'd say, a quarter of the contest was happened out on the water.
Yeah.
The rest happened at the pool table,
Yes,
the darts
I'm sure,
table, and the bar.
Excellent.
See, last man.
That's the
It's
joy,
always
that's
last
the-
man standing.
It's the joy. It's the people involved in it. It's in any sport or any
No,
company as well.
absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely. Some of my happiest racing that I had was up in East London, where they used to run handicap racing.
Okay.
Where I still had the Raven Wildcat, and slowly but surely the guys started dropping out or falling out the boats, and they got hurt and stopped racing. And then I would go take it up to East London and go handicap racing. They had a big clock, and same as the street and fine cars that I was talking about.
Yes.
You go out and you set
Go
a time.
first.
And that was some of the best racing that I had, because, and it was, I mean, those people become like family to you, and still relationships, you pick up just like that, and still
interesting.
got friends all around the country.
The love and the passion of the sports is always going to bring you together.
So people always ask me, well, how did you get involved in commentating?
Yeah.
I said, by accident.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
It's my
Brendan, you're on the mic. Go.
My very own accident, because Michelle said, when before I left,
By accident.
Yeah, by accident. My own bloody accident. I was lying in hospital in Millmead still, and the same Daryl, whose camera was on my boat when I crashed it, and he'll never ever let me forget that his camera was wrecked on his boat. He came and interviewed me with the guy, the crew from Supersport, and so Michelle was still up in Pretoria. And said to me, what's the plan? So I said, well, as soon as I can walk, I'm going to be back in the boat. And she said,
nah,
not going to happen.
Okay.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was at that stage that Daryl said, well, why don't you come and work for us? I said, out of all of the drivers, you come across the best. You speak the best. So come and work for us. And that's where.
Do they all speak deliciously?
I speak the Queen's English, and having grown up in Natal, I had a standard 3, a woman teacher in standard 3, Anne Goodall. At Ikopo Primary School, who was passionate about English. You had to say salt. Salt, and we talk about the hill climb. It's not the hill climb.
The hill
climb. Going up the hill.
YULL.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So that's where my love for English came along. And my father was very strict on us with English. We used to have to play Scrabble. We played Scrabble a lot, and all of our holidays on the Wild Coast, the Scrabble board always went with us, and we all, the whole family, my 2 brothers and sister all excelled in English and that, and then when I went to Dale, standard 7, standard 8.
We were talking about a teacher that also
Errol
in
Hort.
class.
Yes, Dave Tiltman mentioned him when he was on the show. Mr. E.V. Hort, Errol Hort. Yeah. He was a legendary English teacher, and I mean, such a larger than life character. And the one Monday morning, he was sitting on the desk, and I sat in. I was the first desk in front of his desk, and he was sitting on his desk, and we were doing set work, and he was coughing a lot, and he just put the set work book down, and he said, "Excuse me, boys, I'll be back." And he just went, "Oh my God!" And he held his head, and he dropped and hit. Wow. He landed on my desk and fell next to me. Stone dead. I mean, he was dead before he.
Widowmaker, a heart attack.
Aneurysm. An aneurysm. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a very
scary experience for a youngster.
For a youngster, and especially your favorite teacher and a guy that you flip and idolized. It was, that was Dale.
And so, but you've managed to, so at least your commentating has been that as well, and you've also managed to stay involved in the sport.
Yeah, well, that's what Daryl really threw me a lifeline to stay. Yeah, because he said, come and work for us.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I missed one race after being let out or released from Millmead. I had to learn to walk again, and was on crutches.
And you were saying your son came to see you, and they wouldn't let him in.
Oh well, that was terrible. That was while I was still I was still lying in ICU. They had operated on me already, and before the guy came in, Dr. Francois Theron, the surgeon, came and operated on me. So he got Michelle and I together, and he said, "Listen, I just need to explain this operation to you. What we're going to do? We're going to cut you down the chest, break open your rib cage, we take all your organs out, do the repair work on your spine, put everything back in again, sew you up, turn you over, and then
operate through the front
from the back, and then from the back." Yeah. And it was like, geez, that's when this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
And he said, but there is an alternative. He said there's a new method, the boomerang method. He said he's never done the operation.
Something new.
He's received all the instruments, but he hasn't done it. He's maybe watched a YouTube video. I don't know. But you
were like the first. You're the first guy. I don't know.
I was the first one I was the guinea pig that he operated on. And then there's a guy, Joey Evans.
Yes, I know Joey.
The KTM, the guy
KTM
Paris. From Paris to Dakar.
Dakar, Paris.
Well known,
massive accident.
Massive, and the same injuries. Except he was just unfortunate that he didn't get medical attention sooner. I mean, he was at a motocross track in the middle of nowhere, and that's what I was lucky, and that's why I still say, the rescue guys were brilliant, and then the aftercare from there. That my recovery was better than Joey's. I've got very little feeling in my legs. The doctor said to me, he said, you'll realize you'll never run again in your life.
Okay, very nice.
I said, are you serious? He said, yes. I said, well, thank you very much. That's the best news. I've got an excuse.
And not a runner then, eh?
So yeah, but going back to ICU. So I was pretty battered up, and my eyes were swollen, and I'd been underwater. I was on oxygen, and as I said, my son, they wouldn't let him into ICU to see me, and then they snuck him in the one Sunday night. One of the sisters said, you'll bring him in quickly, and just looking at him, and I think he was probably 6 years old at that stage, and just the look of absolute fear when he saw what I looked like. That's when you suddenly realize you got to have some different priorities in life, and then I just realized that I've got to fight this, put everything into it, and that's why having a positive outlook on life has been a massive help, and it's amazing what you can do. You just put your mind to overcoming obstacles, and you've just got to fuss bait and do it. I got out of bed one day, and luckily next to our bed we've got burglar bars virtually from the window up to the top that I could hold on the burglar bars and basically pull myself up until I could stand, and then crutches, and I was going through to the lounge, and at the bottom of our bed we've got a big mirror, and I just looked at myself on these crutches, and I was, you look like a flippant paraplegic. You just look, and feeling sorry for yourself. I took those crutches, I threw them behind a rocking chair that was in the corner, and I said to myself, then I will never use those bloody things again. And I forced myself to walk without them from there, and it just the recovery was quicker, and I had to. I was running my own business. I had to I got a friend of mine come and work for me to drive me around. I had put a mattress in the back of my VW transporter, and I would lie on the mattress because I wasn't allowed to sit. I could either stand or lie down. Because I was in a body brace. I mean, a full body brace from my neck right down to my backside. So it could have been a lot worse. They come and explain things to you. You might realize you're never going to have sex again in your life, and that type of thing. And but there are alternatives and all of this. I was lying. Also, I had lots of visitors come and visit me. But the one guy in particular, a friend of mine, Jacques Conradi, came to see me, and I had one of those Nokia phones that opened up like a And so I was talking to him about this. The doctors are worried I might have had no more hanky panky. So
Gee whiz.
he said to me when he left, he said, I've downloaded a website on your phone. You know, have a look at that. So when he was gone, I mean, Sunday night, I opened this thing up, and it was a porn site called grannyjoy.com.
Granny Joy.
Yeah, some of the horriblest.
Oh no, that didn't stop you.
But luckily there were links to other ones.
As they are.
As they are. So
yes.
I think it was after maybe the second or third night looking at these things, I suddenly felt
There's always lots to do with this.
Something's happening here. And geez, there I managed to pitch a tent. So the first thing I did was grab the emergency bell. And geez, the sisters come running.
I think something's happening.
Yeah, check yeah.
Hooray! Yeah. Hurrah! Hurrah! Say the nurses.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my life at Mulemed. It was just I just gave them.
It's up there on the Lowveld.
Right in Pretoria, I think it's an ex-military hospital. Okay. But yeah, the care, the care that I got there, it was getting back to PE. Had to have special clearance from SAA because I'd been underwater for so long as well. And when they operated on me, my lungs collapsed as well. So just another curveball, yes. And they've got to. So because your oxygen levels, the flying and that, I had to get special clearance. And had Dr. Turon, you know, he said to me, he said, "Well, you want to go home? You've got to walk to my consulting room to come and get a letter."
Okay.
He forced me to go, and his rooms it was up one flight of stairs and then maybe 20 meters down a corridor.
Tough mountain to climb.
Yeah, but at the bottom of the stairs there was a vending machine there, and I went and I put money in there, and I got two Energiades,
yes,
one in each pocket, and these bloody crutches, and off I went. But I made it. Geez, the sweat was running. I'd finished both Energiades by the time I got there. Sweating like a pig, but I got there, and he just said to me, he said, "Yes, you're going to be all right." So.
Oh my word! Well, I wonder if there's any final comments here before we wrap it up here. Bruce has started realizing that all powerboat riders are handicapped. Indeed.
He should know. He's feeling a bit battered and bruised from the weekend.
I'm sure. Ellie Vergara says, "No wonder you're always in shorts in the early mornings, cold at the track."
Yeah, I've got no feeling. My legs are permanently cold. I mean, I at a bra, I'll burn myself, or
really?
Yeah, bump into something, I cut myself.
Start smelling nice, something nice on the bra.
Grannyjoy.com.
No, I mean, not going to tell you.
I've sent it to you before. Hey, Hardo, how's it going? Man, nice to see you watching.
How's it? Yes, from Germany.
A long time. Yep.
I remember Hardo.
Used to do lots of work with him. He did the silos, the feed silos on the dairy farms. Yeah.
All right. So, I remember he went overseas.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brendan, it's been fantastic to have you on the show, man.
What is the time? I mean, time
it's we've got world record here. It's 20th. What's it called? 20 to 9. 20 to 9.
20 to 9.
20 to 9. We could talk all night here if we wanted to.
We could, yeah.
But we've got the competition to do as well, so we're going to check all the guys that are online now. You can win a case of Fitch and Leeds. We normally do this one now, you know.
Yeah, because I can't win it anymore.
Yeah, we don't do the drums anymore. We ended up get more time in with the talking.
Hey, Yanni funny boy.
Oh, so Yanni funny boy. And I see your car there, Jan. I see it. Wendy will get hold of you. We'll get your details. And you have won the Fitch and Leeds. Fantastic to have you on the show, Brendan. Wow, it's been
an absolute pleasure.
It's been great. Really. I know we always ask one last question. Your most embarrassing moment ever? I mean, there's already been a million of those for you. I don't know. I'm too scared to ask what your embarrassing moment is.
I don't think my wife will let me tell the story about my most embarrassing. But yes. I've. Just the type of person I am. There's not much of a filter here, so.
Just go talk.
Most embarrassing. Ricky Ponting comes to mind. The 2009 World Rubber Duck Championships.
Yes.
Australia were in town playing South Africa. We were commentating at Kings Beach, and I was working with a guy, Brian Eminis, Capital Sounds. I mean, massive systems for the World Champs. And we saw the plan was that the Australian team, from when they'd finished training, were going to come to the beach, and the guys were going to take them for rides in the
ducks.
In the ducks, yeah.
Jeez, like,
that was the plan.
Yeah.
But South Africa had stuffed them up so badly in the first ODI that they were sulking, and I saw Ponting going along the sand dunes, like making a beeline. So I grabbed the microphone, cordless mics, I got a long range, and I go after him.
Yeah.
And hey, Ricky, he's like, yeah, hey, Ricky, I said, you mind if I talk to you? So I've got the microphone. He said, I can see that. He said, do you mind if I talk to you? He said, no.
No,
so,
bugger off, mate.
I said, what the hell? And he said, yeah, and he flipping abused my mother. I said, hey, you don't even know my mother. And then I called him an arrogant little prick. And the next day, Report newspaper had picked up on the story, and it was flipping all over the Report newspaper. So yeah, that was one embarrassing time.
Well, I'm sure Ricky's he's got over it by now. I'm sure.
No, he's still an arrogant little prick.
Oh, but thank you so much for coming. It's been fantastic
it's been
to
an
have
absolute pleasure.
Lovely.
And yeah, thanks very much for all the comments and the
Daryl, thank you.
interaction. Daryl, I
Yes.
will replace your camera one day, I promise.
Thank you, and Jan, fantastic too. And we'll organise that so that you can get your Fitch and Leeds, your case of Fitch and Leeds. Thank you to everybody for coming on. Thank you to Spa, and thank you to Fat Cats for our food, and of course for Fitch and Leeds. Thank you, Grash. Lovely. We're going to chow down now. And thanks.